Thank you, Rabbi Shem Tov, for that amazing introduction and for bringing us all together tonight and always for this incredible event. Congratulations to the students. I think I met some of you on your incredible accomplishment. And thank you to the President's own United States Marine Band for playing for us tonight. They're always amazing. Thank you all. Good to see you. On behalf of President Biden, my wife, Vice President Harris, First Lady, I want to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah. Now look, normally this is a time of celebration and joy. I want us to celebrate Hanukkah. And I know right now that might seem a little far-fetched to some of you. I know you're in pain. I'm in pain. I know a lot of us are feeling unmoored and afraid. We've not seen anything like this moment, and I know it's scary. Just look at the news just the past couple of days. What have we seen? We've seen the presidents of some of our most elite universities literally unable to denounce calling for the genocide of Jews as anti-Semitic. That lack of moral clarity is simply unacceptable. We've seen a restaurant owner who's a friend of mine accused of genocide simply because he's Jewish. We've all seen college students afraid to go to class. We've seen people afraid to go to markets, afraid to go to synagogues, literally being attacked on our streets. Let me be clear. When Jews are targeted because of their beliefs or identity, and when Israel is singled out because of anti-Jewish hatred, that is anti-Semitism, and it must be condemned. And condemned unequivocally and without context. I've spent the whole time since I've been second gentleman, as Rabbi said, talking out about anti-Semitism. But since October 7th, that horrible day, I have been speaking out publicly as much as I can on what I am calling and what we know to be a crisis of anti-Semitism. But I've also been reaching out privately to many people just to check in, just to see how they're doing, how they're feeling. And the common denominator of these conversations is that we feel alone, we feel hated, we feel we're in pain. But we also talk about how we can rededicate ourselves, how we can recommit ourselves to our pride and our love of being Jewish. And that concept of dedication, rededication, I believe, is the meaning of Hanukkah. I want you to know that President Biden and Vice President Harris and this entire administration have your back. The administration and our community, we put the work in, so we now have the tools to meet this moment. Last December, we convened a roundtable with Jewish leaders at the White House to discuss the growing threat of anti-Semitism even a year ago. And some of you in the audience tonight were there. Soon afterwards, President Biden stood up an interagency, all-of-government task force to address this epidemic of hate. In May, I'm proud to say that the Biden-Harris administration announced the first ever national strategy to counter anti-Semitism and got to work implementing it immediately. And that is why we were ready to engage and act at this perilous and pivotal moment. We are taking action. As attacks increased on college campuses, Secretary of Education Cardona and I met with leaders of major Jewish organizations. Again, some of you are here tonight. And we can see the Department of Education is taking action to ensure that colleges protect their students. President Biden and Vice President Harris have also been working to ensure Israel has the support it needs. Thank you. Because of their leadership, more than 100 hostages, including 4 Americans, are home. We will continue to do all we can to reunite the hostages with their family members. And I personally know how important this issue is to President Biden and Vice President Harris. And President Biden, we are so lucky to have President Biden as our president. A couple of days after the horrible attack on 10/7, he and I spoke at another roundtable with Jewish leaders. That was very difficult for me to imagine how I was going to do that so soon after October 7th. But our president and the whole room looked me in the eye and just asked, "How are you doing?" And I just said, "Not okay." He took my hand, his hands, my hands, and he said, "We're going to be okay. Let's just go out and tell the world how you feel." It was in that moment that those emotions just got me. It hit me. I'm so thankful for his support each and every day. Thank you. And my wife, the Vice President, she has always pushed me into this issue and had me lean into it. And she said, "This moment found you, and now get to work." And I've tried to do that each and every day. So even as we face what feels like such empty darkness right now, I am hopeful. Look at the story of Hanukkah. The story of Hanukkah and the story of Jewish people has always been one of hope and resilience. In the Hanukkah story, the Jewish people were forced into hiding. No one thought they would survive or that few drops of oil they had would last. But they did survive, and the oil kept burning. And during those 8 days in hiding, they recited their prayers and continued their traditions. And that's why Hanukkah means dedication. It was during those dark nights that the Maccabees dedicated themselves to maintaining hope and faith in the oil, each other, and their Judaism. So in these dark times, I think of that story. But I also think of everything it took for me to be here tonight. I think of my ancestors. This past January, I visited the town in what is now Poland that my family fled to escape persecution. I even got to see the apartment where they lived and the temple where they worshiped. And I know the sacrifice that they made to leave their home and come to this great country. I know that was hard. And I know that many, including some in my family, weren't able to escape. So only in America would the descendant of people who had to flee from persecution be standing here with all of you as the first ever Jewish spouse of an American president or vice president. So even though it feels like these are dark times, we will continue to live out the legacy of the generations of ancestors who came before us. We will rededicate ourselves to embracing our faith and practicing our traditions. We cannot live in fear or be afraid. We must always live openly and proudly as Jews. Happy Hanukkah.
Really, really something. I gotta say, that was really good. Here. Thank you so much. I would only disagree with a few words of what you said, and that is, you say you try every day. You know, my uncle came from Europe, and he said he found out that I will means maybe, I'll try means forget it. You don't try, you do. And that's a very big difference. And I want everybody here to acknowledge that. We're about to light the menorah and conclude our program. I just would like to acknowledge certain people who've made this possible. As you know, the government affords us every right to do this, but it's privately funded. To that end, I'd like to thank our sponsors this evening. First, I'd like to thank Hudson Bay Capital, whose chairman and CEO are with us this evening, and we'd like to invite the chairman, unless he's already gotten harnessed up, but if he's here, can join me, Sander Gerber. Chevron, which is looking for ways to make one jug of oil last 8 days. And actually told me on the phone yesterday that make sure people know we're looking for renewable energy. Suffolk Construction, whose chairman and CEO, Mr. John Fish, couldn't be here tonight, but I just want to repeat 3 sentences he said a while ago at dinner with us. He came there and identified himself. He said, too often in life, people didn't speak out. And he said that he's an Irish Catholic from Boston, who's the chairman of the board of trustees of a Jesuit university. And he's here at a dinner of the Jewish community to speak out. And therefore, I want to express appreciation not only to Suffolk, but to him personally for taking that stand and for expressing publicly that there would be many like him who would follow suit and do the same. And I do believe that as much as we resent those who hate us, we must recognize the John Fishes of this world who are with us. We have to recognize the Eric Adams of this world who are with us. They are not co-religionists, but they're fellow human beings. And you know, Mr. Mayor, I was thinking about your name. I don't know what Eric means, but Adam describes the first human being created. God created only one. Because since we're all descended from Adam, we should know we're all special in a unique way. God doesn't make mistakes. If he created us, he wants us and he needs us. We may look different, we may live different, we may do many things differently from each other, but God loves us all and expects us to bring brightness into the darkness and warmth into the cold. And I think that all of those out here who are not Jewish, including the members of the military who defend our very right to do what we're doing here, deserve the biggest round of applause. We want to thank the Shine a Light Foundation for all of the fantastic work that they have been doing across the country to raise awareness and counter this terrible scourge we've been seeing. And also a special mention to the Mayberg Foundation, Louis and Minette Mayberg, who've helped this become what it is when it was very small, but nurtured the American Friends of Lubavitch, Chabad, to grow and be able to reach more and more people. And they have done so many wonderful things, and I believe that they are here. So if Louis and Minette, if you wouldn't mind just standing and saying hello to everybody for 1 second. Please, round of applause for the people who make this possible. I'd like to also acknowledge the Morris Oring Foundation, Mr. Morris Oring, who's here with us tonight, Alter and Rachel Burke, Mark and Nancy Penn, Isaac and Hilda Applebaum, Jonathan and Laura Barron, Zev and Esty Drizzen, the Daravoff family, the Epstein family. I believe Boris is here with us tonight. Thank you for being here. Bill Knapp and Jeannie Milbauer, who are here, and not only tonight, but they're always there for us. Seth and Rivka Weisberg, who are representing the Weisberg Foundation and their own support, and have flown in from Colorado just to be here. Can you please stand and be recognized? ISRI, the recycling, thank you very much. ISRI, the recycling industry, who brought together all of the recycling companies to make that brand new menorah of recycled aluminum, showing us that you can make good things out of what seems gone. Verizon, who says they wish everybody would use them to wish each other happy Hanukkah. Harry Ajmi and his family, and Choni Herzka and his family. And I'm going to conclude with this. I had remarks, but time went by. They say there was a king named Tessa who took a loan of grain and said, I want to be repaid very simply. I want you to give me a grain of rice. The next day, I want 100% compounded interest. 2 grains of rice. Then the next day, I'd like 4 grains of rice. The person took the deal and figured, how bad could it be? Well, you do the math. Anyone who knows computing knows that when you start 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32, it doesn't sound like that much. But you know that after day 30, you'll be up to 1 million. When the day before was only 500,000, the day before it was 120-something thousand. Antisemitism has done that, my friends. It's gone from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32, and nobody really noticed. But it's starting to double and compound. And I'm so happy the second gentleman said it so clear. We can't be afraid. We have to be strong, and we have to double our efforts. We have to do more than we've done before. We can't have this asymmetrical where everybody beats us up so terribly and we don't fight back with everything we have. So I hope you'll take his message to heart like I did. I told you, after he speaks from the heart, you're changed from the experience. And go home, light the Hanukkah menorah, find someone who doesn't have one and give them a menorah. Invite them over, share the love, share the light, bring the warmth into the world, because one thing the Lubavitcher Rebbe taught us is when you kindle a light, the dark has no choice. It has to disappear. So on that note, I'm going to, thank you. On that note, I'm going to proceed with the lighting of the menorah. I would just ask that after the menorah is lit, people stand in place, because we will conclude with Oseh Shalom and God Bless America. When we sing Oseh Shalom, I want you to remember our brothers and sisters in Israel who are suffering, like we are all suffering. I don't know what you think of Elon Musk, and I'm not about to poll you, but he wore a dog tag around his neck the other day that said, "My heart is in Gaza." And I know we are very unhappy about a lot of things on X, and I hope they don't cut all the feeds on X going on from this. But if you're watching, Mr. Musk, I want to tell you, I don't care what you did last month or last year. I care about what you did in the last 2 weeks. Keep on doing it and help the world eradicate this evil that's going to eat us all up alive if we don't all get together to stop it. So we'll light the menorah that reminds us of this, and then, of course, we'll conclude with God Bless America after the lighting, which pays homage to our land that we live in, that gives us this freedom. To the men and women of the armed forces, may they be kept safe by the Almighty God at the tip of the spear, stateside and abroad, and all come home safely, safe and sound, back to their families in good health and happiness. And we're about to light the menorah. Sandra, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Rabbi. You know, America is the greatest country on earth. Like the menorah, it's a moral beacon to the world. We should not abide calls for genocide. I'd just like to repeat, we should not abide calls for genocide. Thank you. Happy Hanukkah.
We'll see you in just a moment. Please rise for the lighting and remain standing afterwards for the final 2 tunes. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai.
soul.